southwest.com. Grab your bag. It's on. Inside Coors Field, another very nice crowd has already gathered. I'm sure a lot of people still underneath on the concourse getting some dinner. Last night the rock pile was filled up. Crowd of 30,000+. The Braves, I think, are a little bit in shock tonight as they take the field. The trade of Jeff Francoeur earlier this afternoon to the New York Mets, of all teams, their arch rivals, for Ryan Church. Church is not here tonight, so Bobby Cox is going to have a very short bench. More on that in a moment. Here's Bobby's lineup presented by southwest.com. Nate McLeod with a 10-game hitting streak up top. Martin Prado is going to be at first base tonight for Casey Kochman, who has the flu. Chipper Jones making his first start in 4 days. He's battling a groin injury. He's still nowhere close to 100%. Brian McCann, of course, in the cleanup spot. Then it's Garrett Anderson, Matt Diaz in right field. Brooks Conrad. Dory Hernandez is at shortstop for another guy who's banged up, Yunel Escobar. And then Derek Lowe. And let's take a look at the Fidelity scouting report on Ubaldo.
Well, 92-98, it's a riding fastball until he gets up on top and it really pronates inside. Then you'll see some big sink to it. The curveball, hard biting, 12-6 right over the top. Tremendous downward movement with a lot of depth on the slider. 86-91 can be absolutely devastating to right-handed hitters. He will mix the circle change with the split now. So when you see Ionetta and you're watching at home, nobody on base will give you a shot of those signs. If you see 5 drop down, that's going to be the split finger coming from Ubaldo Jimenez. How about some of these numbers? Run support, Jimenez, 5 runs is what the Rockies have been able to give him. He doesn't give up. Does not give up a lot of home runs. He is now 4th in the National League with allowing less than a half a ball game. Well, it's the walks that come into play and the mistakes made later.
Neither one of the guys on the hill tonight give up home runs. Ubaldo doesn't give up home runs. Derek Lowe's allowed only 5 with that heavy sinker of his. So here we go. The Rockies attempting to make it 5 straight. Ubaldo Jimenez trying to win for the 7th time this year. And the first pitch of the ball game, that Nate McLeod is on the inside corner at 93 for a strike. McLeod during the 10-game hitting streak has hit .341. And he fouls that pitch back. And it's quickly a 2-strike count. It is muggy, which we rarely use that term here in Denver.
Well,
it's 88 degrees, kind of sticky out.
Well, you got
just missed at 98.
Got an awful lot of cloud cover out. The rain fallen just a little bit just north of the stadium here. So that's going to create some of that.
Yeah, there's some heavy clouds to the west. This is fouled off. Another 98-mile-an-hour fastball. We ought to chart that tonight, George. You know what?
Go ahead.
I'm going to try to chart that.
Would you like one of my little scout charts?
No, you know what? I'm going to do it right here. While you get that out.
I don't really think you should.
I want to see what his average heater is. Started to rain a little bit. Here's the 1-2, and he stayed off the slider at 91. Home plate umpire tonight is Paul Schreiber. Paul Nauert is at first base. Joe West is at second. Rob Drake at third. And another foul ball.
What was that one?
Well, the gun in the stadium had that at 91. 2-2 on McLeod. He has hit 23 of 28 ball games since coming in the trade from Pittsburgh. Native of Michigan. See you later. Didn't much like that fastball.
Well, I don't think anyone would. When you see the velocity like this on the inner half of the plate, you're thinking about trying to turn on it. You just can't get to it to pull the trigger on the Hyundai Cam, and a strikeout to start the ball game.
Outfield of Carlos Gonzalez, Dexter Fowler, and Brad Hopp. Infield of Ian Stewart, Troy Tulowitzki, Clint Barmas, Todd Helton, and Chris Ionetta has the gear on tonight. And the next pitcher, or the next pitch to the next hitter, Martin Prado, misses at 99 miles an hour. Ball 1.
Interesting to note with Ubaldo Jimenez, this ball that, oh, look at this kick, gonna be difficult. And see, that's one of those when you have a lot of range like that, And the way they bunched the infield defensively, he's going to get to an awful lot of balls. And then when he dove, he got to the baseball. May have been one of those times you let it go through and let Tulowitzki get it. We'll see again on this play is Stewart playing off the line, very far off of the line. Two-step and dive. You can see Tulowitzki coming right behind him. A little bit of a longer throw, although we have seen Ian Stewart catch these baseballs and from the seat of the pants make that throw. He just lost the grip.
So here is Chipper Jones with one out and one on. And there may be another injury. Right now, Martin Prado is trying to stretch out. Looks like he's trying to stretch a groin muscle, and he walks to first. He's hurt. Bobby Cox is benched, George. He's got Gregor Blanco. Blanco is okay. He's got David Ross, the backup catcher. This is a line drive base hit to left for Chipper. Then Jeff Francoeur is on his way to meet the New York Mets. Yunel Escobar left last night's ball game with a back injury. Casey Kochman has the flu.
Well, I watched today just to see if Escobar would take batting practice. He did take batting practice at the very end. So I think if they could keep it heat packed, keep it loose, that maybe you might see him as a pinch hitter late in the game. That's just a big if. By the way, Ubaldo's been able to handle the top of the lineup, just $156. But 6, 7, and 8 in the lineup, and this happens with some young guys because obviously at the bottom of the lineup, not the same hitters as what you see at the top of the lineup. 359. That's a big disparity.
Brian McCann takes a strike. Brian 1 for 4, a double in last night's ball game. Good stop by Iannetta. Braves begin the day 5 out behind the Philadelphia Phillies in the NL East. Florida's just 2 games out. Nobody talks about them. They've won 7 of 10. Only 2 teams over 500 in the East, the Phils and the Marlins. Marlins are 45 and 42. Mets are a half game behind Atlanta. That doesn't sound promising. Thunder in the background. The Rockies are 8 games behind the Dodgers, just a game behind the Giants. But the Rockies are tied for the 3rd best record in the National League. 3 of the top 4 records all belong in the NL West. The Dodgers, the Giants, and the Rockies. Rockies are 7 over, just 1 percentage point behind the Philadelphia Phillies. This is a pop-up. Tulowitzki going back, Gonzalez coming in, and Carlos will make the play. So McCann is retired. That'll bring up Garrett Anderson. Well, we'll show you the defense again. Gonzalez, Fowler, and Hoff. Helton, Varmus, Tulowitzki, Stewart, and Iannetta. Garrett Anderson in last night's ball game had 1 hit. It was a 9th inning double to the gap in right center against Houston Street. And a couple of groundouts later, he would score. Fortunately, it was an inconsequential run. The Rockies had a 2-run advantage. Won the ball game 7-6 and checked his swing. Garrett doesn't move great anymore in the outfield. But I'll tell you what, you still have to respect that bat.
You have to respect the RBI. I mean, this is something the guy does very well. 30 RBIs on the year. Doesn't have the power he once had. As soon as I say that.
Yeah, right center field, well hit. Hop going back, still going back. It's off the wall. That'll score 2 runs, and Garrett Anderson jogs into second with a double, and he didn't miss a home run by much.
Yeah, just as soon as you make the comment, the power's still not there, but he is an RBI machine. 32 on the year now for him, as he drove in Chipper Jones and Prado. But again, Chipper Jones with that growing thing, I thought maybe there just might be a play at the plate. I know Chipper coming around third base was happy to see. He's happy to see Prado stand there with his hands up saying you can stay up. Fastball inner half. It's got it. You can see driven out into right center field. A very good middle half fastball hitter. Doesn't handle the ball away anymore. Doesn't like to break the ball away. But that ball in the inner half, he can really direct the bat how he needs to.
Well, once again, the Braves get a quick start. They led 2-0 last night fairly early on. They have a 2-0 lead against Ubaldo Jimenez here in the first. Anderson, 503 career doubles. Todd Helton will pass that mark of 500 in the not too distant future. Diaz did not start in last night's game. Here's the 1-0. Folks that follow the Atlanta Braves on a regular basis have always liked Matt Diaz. He's a baseball player. He's a good hitter. 3-0.
309 on the year versus the Rockies 3 for 4 with an RBI.
He had a 6-game stretch last week, George, where he went 13 for 21. That's a .619 average.
Well, Bobby, what were you thinking about? How you take him out of the lineup?
Well, he had 0 for 4. Then let's take a seat.
On a 3-0 count, just challenging with a fastball. Didn't appear to be very close. I don't think anybody else thought it was either. Thought it was really high in the strike zone.
Baldo right now is living up in that strike zone. And the slider he threw Garrett Anderson was up. See Diaz leading everybody in the month of July in hitting, and a couple of dodgers. Go figure. Here's the 3-2, and it's fouled back. Derek Lowe wants to know what kind of conditions he's going to be pitching in.
Well, it's favorable for him because of this humidity you talked about with the sinker. It's much like the article read today in USA Today on Tim Wakefield. He said the reason I love the East Coast, it's muggy. It makes it better for the knuckleball. Well, it also makes it a lot better for a sinker when you have heavy air.
Strike 3 on the outside corner. Diaz not happy with Paul Schreiber. Looked like it got all over the outside corner. In the inning, a 2-run double from Garrett Anderson. The Braves off early. And his lineup tonight. Dexter Fowler will lead it off. He'll be followed by Clint Barmas, Todd Helton, and Brad Hopp. Then Troy Tulowitzki, Ian Stewart, Chris Iannetta, Carlos Gonzalez, Ubaldo Jimenez. This has become, if you will, the Rockies' A lineup.
What is the lineup? I mean, that's what it's been for the what? Just since Jim Tracy kind of took this over. The only change he probably made was Carlos Gonzalez playing on everyday basis in left field to let this kid get his feet on the ground.
And in terms of the order, originally Gonzalez was hitting in the 7 hole and Iannetta 8, and recently they flip-flopped the 2. Other than that, that's pretty much the way the Rockies have gone against right-handed pitching. Derek Lowe missed. It's 1-0 on Dexter Fowler. And that pitch on the inside corner for a strike.
Part of Lowe's problem has been trying to accomplish with the backdoor slider an awful lot versus trying to throw the slider on the back foot to left-handers, and it ends up being in the middle of the plate. He will always possess a hard sinker.
1-2. Lowe in his last 5 ball games is 0-4 with an ERA of 8.61. The opposition has hit .391 against him. That's not typical of Derek Lowe.
Well, more than likely one of the roughest stages he's had in his career, those games you just talked about. You're right, that is not Lowe's normal way of approaching things. 4-5 on the year with a .503 road record in earned run average. Left-handers have hit .302 against him. Make that right-handers have hit .302.
This is at Prado, and Martin makes the play. 1 out. Let's take a look at the Fidelity scouting report on the 35-year-old in his 13th big league season.
Boy, it doesn't seem that long, does it? Look back at Boston. Good hard sink on that fastball. 88-94. It slowed down a little bit here in the first inning. Spent 87-88 with a heavy sink. The slider works both sides of the plate with it. Some tail to the circle change or split, that type of change he'll throw. Not a lot of dive action to it. That is his third best pitch. He will not get beat with his changeup.
Fastballs away. How about this? In his last 23 innings, he's allowed 43 hits and 11 walks. That's 54 base runners. And also, he's only struck out 7 hitters during that time. Not a huge strikeout by him, but typically, you know, when he goes 7-8 innings, he's going to strike out 5-6 guys, and the walks would be around 2. That has not been the case. He's walking more guys lately, not punching many out. And there have been an awful lot of hits. 2-1 on Barmes, hitting in front of Helton. 1 out, nobody on for the Rockies in their half of the first. And this is chopped to short. Easy play for Diori Hernandez.
I expect an awful lot of that. You're going to see a lot of ground ball outs. With him on the mound, this defense will have to play well.
In the outfield, you have Nate McLeod, Garrett Anderson, and Matt Diaz flanking him. Chippers at third. Diori Hernandez for Yunel Escobar at short. Brooks Conrad for the injured second baseman Kelly Johnson. Martin Prado for Casey Kochman, who's not feeling well. And Brian McCann behind the plate.
A little more on what Drew's talking about as far as a strikeout. He had entered the season with 1,940 innings. He struck out 1,275. What he does is he keeps the ball in the ballpark, particularly against left-handers. Left-handers, 1 home run and 213 at-bats. Let's look at the Byrd Automotive keys to this ball game. Small ball, I think, with Derek Lowe. I think it's a hit and run, try to get some bunts down, get him off the mound, Ubaldo, and then take advantage of opportunities when they present themselves.
Todd got a pitch up in the zone to swing at. He's a .333 lifetime hitter against Derek Lowe with a home run and 4 RBIs. Of course, Jim Tracy managed Derek Lowe, and both of them were employed by the Dodgers. So he's ultra competitive. Most guys who are successful are.
Well, anytime a guy to me has been a closer, like Smoltz went from starting to closing to starting, and guys like Dennis Eckersley, and guys like Derek Lowe, you've got to be a tough customer to go out there in the 9th inning, and particularly do it in Boston for a ball club like the Red Sox.
Helton resting on a 2-2 count. Lowe's career ground ball to fly ball ratio is 1.76. This year, just 1.21. Tells you he's been living up in the zone a little bit more, George.
Yeah, it does. I mean, that's what you start to watch in the delivery. Is he cutting things off short out front and not getting the good extension? Tell you what, he repeats everything so well in that delivery. Every single pitch.
In the air to left field. Garrett Anderson underneath it, and it's a 1-2-3 start for Derek Lowe. So the Braves, after 1 inning of play, lead the Rockies and Ubaldo Jimenez 2-0. Field. Bottom third of the order for the Braves. Brooks Conrad will lead it off. He'll be followed by Diori Hernandez and Derek Lowe. Ubaldo struck out the first hitter, then gave up an infield hit to Prado. Chipper Jones, a solid single to the left. Got McCann on a pop out, and then Garrett Anderson hit a double to deep, deep right center field.
Melton's going to come hard, but Ionetta's going to have to be the one if it's in fair territory, and it is not.
One ball and one strike on Brooks Conrad. Rockies with the win last night pushed the Braves back to 500 all-time at Coors Field, 29-29. There's a bullet up the middle. 4 hits against Ubaldo. That's what he gave up in his entire outing against Arizona in his last start. Let's get it down to Alana Rizzo with tonight's Mike Shaw Auto Update. Alana.
Thanks very much, Drew. You mentioned Ubaldo's outing in Arizona. You know, Jim Tracy has nothing but good things to say about Ubaldo Jimenez. He had a no-hitter going through 5 2/3 inning in Arizona against Arizona before giving up that 3-run shot and eventually losing the no decision to the Diamondbacks. But Jim Tracy said he loves every single time Ubaldo Jimenez is going to pitch because he truly believes something good is going to happen. He says as he matures, those losses will turn into wins. And second baseman Clint Barmas feels the exact same way. He said people get over to second base where I'm standing and they tell me that they hate facing this guy because he has 5 pitches, none of them seemingly straight, and they're all good pitches. We know he has good stuff. It's just a matter of time before he can translate some of those losses. Obviously, he hasn't had the best run support so far this season, but translate some of those losses into wins. Drew?
You know, Alana, I think one of the things that gets you too, when he's pitching, you can just kind of feel a buzz around the ballpark. They're just excited to see him on the hill.
I would concur with that. I mean, when you have a guy with that kind of stuff, you never know what you're going to get, i.e. his last start, George. We're on the edge of our seats. He's got a no-hitter going 2 outs in the 6th inning. And then, unfortunately, he walks 2 and gives up a home run, and you go from a no-no to a 3-3 ball game like that.
Yeah, that's the worst part about it. I mean, and again, it was on a guy that was a fastball hitter. You learn from those mistakes. When they did hit the ball out.
Derek Lowe gets the bunt down, and help will go to Barnes. You know, that double play, George, going back to the ball Diori Hernandez hit, 9 times out of 10, Barmes and Tulowitzki turned that. The feed was a little bit wide from Clint to Troy, and thus he just threw the timing off a smidgen.
Well, I was wondering, too, maybe getting it out of the glove. It looked like he had a little problems getting out of the glove, and then you rush it, and a lot of times instead of being across the seams, because they'll tell you as a young kid, you take the ball out, grab it, and fix it in your hands across the seams. It's going to give you a little truer throw. Well, sometimes you might 3-finger, whatever, you can't palm ball it to get it out of the glove and get it to him. There's nobody out in that field right now wishing more than anything that either McLeod strike out again than Clint Barnes after that double play was not turned. Think back to the first at bat when he did strike him out. And again, the one thing he did, he worked right in here with the fastball on that inner half of the plate. McLeod took it for strike 3. 87 miles. 87 miles. I thought more like a slider. Looked like it dove down and into him a little bit. At 87. Tough to tell with him. I mean, he throws the changeup, the slider, it's all in the high 80s. His secondary stuff sometimes is as hard as the average fastball in the big leagues, which is 88, 91.
Two balls and 2 strikes on McLeod. Already, Jimenez has had to pitch under duress.
There comes that split finger, hard split, just got right out in front of the plate. Jimenez going to bare hand. Nope.
Did get him. Well, Bobby Cox is getting exactly what he wants from his offense. Not only have they produced a couple of runs, but they're moving up the pitch count early on Jimenez.
Let's go back to the slow motion on this thing and just watch this ball come right out front. Jimenez is going to have to get off the mound in a hurry. It just died when it got into the grass. Ubaldo looked down once, and when he reached down to grab it, there it comes that split. Look at that tumble action on the baseball. Man, what great camera work that is. I'd love to see the rotation on the baseball. See how soft that was right in front of home plate? Look at the mud on the baseball. See it going on? You see just like a cake of mud on that baseball.
Well, again, Jimenez gets a lot of ground balls. It also helps out Derek Lowe. There's a strike on Martin Prado.
Yeah, look at this going down the line. I mean, see, he went over to grab it. It was like he kind of missed the baseball. Then a little bit of a hesitant throw because of the mud being on there.
Infield hit, now an 11-game hitting streak for McLeod. Here's the 0-1 to Prado on the ground to third. And Stewart throws across. In the inning, there were a couple of hits. No runs, fortunately. 2-0. Middle of 2, the Braves leading. Atlanta leading 2-0 as we go to the bottom of the second inning. Rockies fans, go to FSNinsider.com and check out the Douglas County Water Pick'em. Pick a team to win and see how long your streak can go. And tonight we're picking 3 ball games. Well, we can't pick that. It's already underway. The Dodgers in Milwaukee.
Oh, wait a minute. Let me look.
Well, it's still close enough. You can pick it, I guess. Billingsley and Lucre. That's a good pitching matchup.
I'm going Dodgers.
The Dodgers are hard to pick against right now, especially with Chad Billingsley. And then later on tonight, George, is a tough one. San Diego and San Francisco.
I'm going San Diego.
I'm going San Diego also. Sanchez is 2-8 for the Giants. And, of course, they had their fill of Tim Lincecum yesterday. And then this ball game, the Rockies and Braves. Rockies are trailing 2-0. That's our Denver Water Pick'em. Brad Hopp takes down Lowe. It's 2-1. You know, they changed that scoring, George, during the break. They gave an error to Ubaldo. So a hit and an error. McLeod still has a 10-game hitting streak.
Well, Hop obviously likes it when the sun sets. 352 average at night, just 269 during the day.
2-2. This is bouncing up the middle, and it'll be a base hit.
Yeah, I thought Derek Lowe started to make a play on that baseball. Then he backed away from it, thinking that the second baseman would make the play on it. Well, looking at the play with Ubaldo Jimenez, you're going to see it from up top. The ball gets tapped out front. Watch McLeod when he gets to the ball. If he feels it cleanly, makes the throw, he's out. plenty of angle for him to throw the baseball. I mean, McLeod's not anywhere near what he needs to be. It's just he just outran it after the ball will buy him in it.
Nice idea. Tulowitzki lays down a beautiful bunt. And they're 2 on and nobody out. Ian Stewart coming up.
Well, once again, whenever you start to hit the ball off the wall and over the wall, a lot of guys are going to play you deeper. And again, taking advantage of a little bit of a growing problem that Chipper Jones is still dealing with. Lay the bunt down. He's deep, saying, all right, I'll get the singles, I'll get the doubles, I'll try to prevent all of those. I can't do anything about this right now because typically he's very good at charging the baseball.
And as you know, Chipper is unfailingly honest. You want a candid interview, talk to Chipper Jones. There's a strike. I asked him before the ball game around the cage, I said, how you feeling? He goes, it's not good. I said, does it affect you more from the left side or the right side? And he said, both.
Both?
And Chip, you know, that's Chipper. He doesn't pull any punches.
Well, he walked in the dugout yesterday and he said, Skip, need another day. I just don't think if you want a singles hitter, I'll be all right. But if you want somebody to try to drive the ball, I'm not your guy today. But this is like a marriage. They've been together 18 years. It's a record.
It is a record. All 417 home runs for Chipper Jones with Bobby Cox in the dugout. Here's the 1-1. Pulled to second. Bobbled for a moment, and that's a break. It allowed two things to happen. It allowed Tulowitzki to get into Diori Hernandez. And obviously it allowed Stewart to get up the line. That should have been a double play.
Well, much like what Ubaldo had back in the previous inning, this ball's hit extremely hard by Ian Stewart. Dropped the head and take off running. You just never know. A short bobble, it looked like, out at second base, and then not a very good throw over to Hernandez at short.
You know, Chris Iannetta comes up. He swung the bat very well last night. He had a huge 2-run triple that tied up the ball game. Rockies again battled back from 2 2-run deficits in the ball game last night, and then we're behind 5-4. First and third, 1 out. That pitch off the plate, ball 1 on Iannetta.
You know, it's interesting. Joe West is working second base. He's standing right out here as the umpire. He turned and looked at McLeod. He asked both guys in the middle infield, not both, but he asked second baseman Conrad, am I okay here? And the reason why is he will move sometimes with pitchers and hitters. Who's up to avoid getting into the play on a ball on a ground ball or blocking the vision of a center fielder on a pitch to the plate. So they always ask guys, am I all right here? And they'll move one way or the other to allow the freedom of for the outfielders to view, and plus the middle infield.
Ball and a strike on Iannetta. Ball club's 21-7 since Chris came off the disabled list when he had that hamstring strain. Runner going, and this ball's lifted foul.
Second in the National League right now among catchers with home runs. Molina has 11 in St. Louis. Sorry, San Francisco.
Benji, Yadier doesn't.
There's too many Molinos. Iannetta has 10. Soto in Chicago with 8. McCann with 8 right here with Atlanta. And then Rodriguez and Baker each have 7.
That guy John Baker with Florida has got a nice swing.
He's got a pretty good pitching staff to catch too, which kind of helps out when you're a young kid in the big leagues trying to establish yourself behind the plate.
Here's the 1-2 and swung on a miss. So Derek Lowe gets a big strikeout, and Carlos Gonzalez will come up.
That may have been the best slider he's thrown all day, because anytime you get there to their break, see that thing dive right at the very end. Coming right out, really gripping that seam up on the top side of it. And watch how he gets out on top of the baseball. And then that follow through creates that little red dot in the back of the baseball. But then again, it's broke away from the bat, the end of the bat of Chris Iannetta. He threw it right where he wanted to.
Carlos Gonzalez getting his first taste of the veteran Derek Lowe.
And this is one area that, you know, teams look at, say, I pitch around. No, let's go ahead and face the guy. Let's throw him. He might catch a lot of nasty pitches, but his failure rate's been pretty high. 4 for 26 with runners in scoring position, just a .159 average. On
the ground to second. Well, the Rockies put 2 runners on with nobody out, and they don't score. 2-0 as we go to the third. $70 an express toll, the best way to save time and money. 2 more ball games before the All-Star break against the Atlanta Braves. 3 days off, and then the Rockies will resume with 4 road games at Petco against San Diego, and then George is back home for a week. So the Rockies trying to take advantage of the schedule in July, where they're finally at home for an extended period. Here's Chipper Jones, and he hits it hard right at Clint Barmes.
You know what? It's a win-win situation with the schedule the way it is and the way the Rockies are playing baseball. Fans, you should get out to the park. This is a fun baseball team to watch, and they're managed brilliantly right now by Jim Tracy. They're winning a lot of baseball games. School's out. Kids are home for the summer. Come watch a little baseball.
Brian McCann will hit next. 2-0 Atlanta.
23 pitches for Ubaldo in the first inning. He's at 37 right now. In the past, you would say, that's a little bunch or alarming, but he's been as high as 125 pitches in a ball game, averaging over 100 per start, so you don't get too worried about it.
Here's the 0-1, and swung on and missed, 96 miles an hour. McCann has hit the skids of late, just 9 for his last 49. Still going to the All-Star game and should be going. 4th consecutive year that he is an All-Star. Every year that he's been a full-time big leaguer, he's been an All-Star. He is the premier hitting catcher in the National League. That honor goes to Joe Mauer in the American League. And he gets a pink slip. Go back to the dugout.
I tell you what, too, last night, 1-7-8 throwing the ball down to second base. That was pretty good. That was exciting to watch.
2 outs, Garrett Anderson coming up. It's time for the Home Depot doing more on defense. Look at this double play turn by Clint Barmes and Troy Tulowitzki last night. Pretty good stuff. And that is winning baseball. And, of course, Clint's wife Summer was up here joining us tonight. Hopefully they've raised a lot of money with the grab bag charity tonight and tomorrow night when you come into the ballpark. That was the Home Depot doing more on defense. Anderson hits one back up the middle, ricochets to Stewart. Stewart throws to first. He's still out. Who didn't touch the ball in the infield on that play? Yeah, Garrett doesn't run like he used to. 1, 2, 3 inning for Ubaldo Jimenez. Rockies right back to the bat rack, trailing 2-0. 1-5-3. Derek Lowe with the first pitch to Ubaldo Jimenez, misses down and away, ball one. Ubaldo swinging the bat this year at 296. And he admitted, with only extra batting practice he's taken, now being in the big leagues for a couple of years, he admitted that this year is the first year, George, that he didn't have ball fear at the plate.
Well, let me tell you something. I mean, the first time you jump out there, particularly as a young kid, and all of a sudden, you get to swing it in AA when you play National League teams and in AAA, but they're not like consistent. It's not like every day. And whenever a guy's standing on the mound, he's throwing 90 miles an hour, and then all of a sudden he snaps a hook off on you and he throws it right at you. It's just not, I mean, it does have an effect on you as a hitter. I mean, I remember one day I just yelled at Fernando Valenzuela. He threw me 3 screwballs in a row, and I was like, who do you think I am anyway? Just throw it down the middle.
I'll go away quietly.
Just throw it down the middle. You don't do all that hard work.
All right, time to check in again with Alana Rizzo with tonight's great Colorado Payback Sideline Report. Alana.
Hey guys, I'm over in section 130. You see all these lovely ladies. It's the Rockies wives and fiancés doing the fundraiser, the annual fundraiser, Ian Stewart Autograph Baseball. You get a grab bag. You pay $40 for the grab bag. All the proceeds go to the Children's Miracle Network. They're going to do this today until the 7th inning and tomorrow as well. So if you're not here tonight, come out tomorrow. Support Children's Miracle Network. You get a great autograph baseball, and there's even a 2001 bat signed by the 01 team. Come on over to section 130.
It's a great cause, Alana. Thank you. And a year ago, they raised more than $25,000. Hopefully, they'll do at least that well this year. This is loop to left. Anderson is in the neighborhood, and he makes the catch. So.
Dexter never saw the baseball. He never knew where the ball went. He swung at it, thought it was up into the seats. He never saw it. And you know what? What was interesting to me as a young player? I mean, watch when he hits this ball. And I'm going to ask the truck out loud versus getting on a button here. See if you can follow Dexter up the line a little bit for me. I don't know how long you stayed with him. But watch what he does when he looks out and sees the hit. Look, first thing he does. Watch his head. Watch what he does. He's looking into the outfield. And he looks at Jim Tracy like, sorry, dude. I mean, this is a young player that is very conscious of what goes on in a game. And he really thought that ball was fouled. He's like turning around to look because the respect he has for Jim Tracy and his teammates, that he didn't run that ball out hard, which he never does it.
Yeah, no, that's not Dexter. He obviously didn't realize that the ball was in fair territory. 1 ball, 1 strike on Barmes with 2 outs. And Barmes bounces one to short.
Too quick an inning for him. That was really quick.
Derek Lowe's got the sinker going tonight. And the Braves have a 2-0 lead as we go to the 4th. Uno in terms of headlines. Jeff Francoeur from Parkview Central High School, suburban Atlanta, where he was an enormous football, baseball star. Then he grows up and plays for the hometown team and reaches instant stardom, a couple of 100 RBI seasons, tailed off the last year and a half, not driving in runs, the average below 250. Traded today to the Mets of all teams for Ryan Church.
So you thought you should have got more? The Met guys, all Met fans wanted to get more?
No, you know
I'm
what?
kind of happy Francoeur. I'm going to tell you what, that's a big right-handed bat in that lineup for the Mets.
Well, if he could straighten things out.
Well, here's the other thing, Drew. One guy's 30, Francoeur's just 25. Been an MVP, what, twice? I mean, All-Star twice, Gold Glover twice.
Hey, he's a great talent, but he has gotten himself in some bad habits at the plate. And he's trying to get out of it. Good pickup by Stewart. George, that was not easy.
Right, they need to tell everybody down there quit hitting it to third. That's not the right spot, because he will throw you out.
Matt Diaz retired. Pretty good pickup there by Stewart.
He's going to have to charge on the baseball, but again, where they've repositioned this defense, he's going to take it with the glove. Takes it, nice easy exchange, and a quick arm. It's a very strong arm, which is possessed by all three guys in this Rockies infield that have to make throws. And then, of course, Todd Helton's got a plus arm at first.
Brooks Conrad out in front, ball one, strike one. Excuse me, I'm looking at something else here. Slider was a pitch he pulled foul.
Confusing me?
Yeah, I know. I want to go back to the Francoeur thing, George, for a second. Francoeur, immensely popular naturally in Atlanta. You know, good-looking kid, big and strong. He was going to be the heir apparent to Chipper Jones when Chipper eventually retired as the face of the Atlanta organization. He was, according to his teammates, you know, somewhat in shock, though there have been rumors that the Braves may move him. A difficult day for Francoeur.
Well, it is, I'm sure, because he's married, living there at home, and again, the childhood dream of playing for Bobby Cox, the Atlanta Braves. By the way, Betancourt today went from Seattle to the Kansas City Royals in exchange for Danny Cortez and Derek Saito. Saito, a kid out of A-ball, a right-handed pitcher, and then Cortez, right-hander out of Double-A. The Royals have been looking for some middle infield help, and they just got it.
The other news with 2 outs is Diory Hernandez comes up concerning the Atlanta Braves. Javier Vasquez has an abdominal strain. He's been flown back to Atlanta to have that looked at. He was supposed to start Sunday's game, and he has a sub-3 ERA.
Well,
so the Rockies are not going to be upset that they're going to miss Vasquez. Chris Midland, who pitched a little bit last night, is going to get the start.
He was actually the guy they called up before they called up Tommy Hanson. He came up and made 3 starts. They kept him here. Now they're going to move. Hanson went down to Myrtle Beach in A-ball, high age, so he could keep into the rotation of where he is. And then Medlin will make that start on Sunday.
And Luis Valdez is brought up, George, but he's not here. That's why Bobby's got a really thin bench. The pen's thin.
Well, I still think they're going to, you know, they got Blanco, they've got Escobar, and they've got Ross. And the only reason I say they have Escobar, I know there were questions about it earlier, and I talked to Joe Simpson, who does the television network over there. I watched him hit in BP. He was rotating pretty well.
2-2 on Hernandez. Curveball, he went around, didn't he? Yeah. Chris Iannetta will tag him in the back, and it's a 1-2-3 inning, 7 in a row set down now by Jimenez. See if the Rockies can scratch something out against Derek Lowe. Todd Helton. Affleck trivia question. Since Todd Helton's big league debut in '97, who are the two left-handed hitters to record more hits? Todd stays off that pitch. Ball one. Helton hit the ball in the air to Garrett Anderson his first time up. .316 average entering the ball game.
Well, if you went out in spring training and said, Todd, at the break, you're going to be hitting over 300, 56 RBIs and 9 home runs. Will you take it? Absolutely.
And playing a Gold Glove first base.
Well, from where he has come. That's the biggest thing.
3-0. Matt Diaz very deep and right. Center fielder McLeod shaded toward left. 3-0 is in there for a strike. Helton's hitting .360 on the homestand. In his last 17 games, he has a slugging percentage above .600. And this is a chopper to first, and Derek Lowe is going to get the feed from Martin Prado. Well, whatever the problems were for Derek Lowe, George, in his last 5 outings, and evidently the problems were numerous, he has straightened it out tonight.
Well, I think one thing he's done, he's backed off the fastball a little bit. He's not trying to jam it up quite as high velocity-wise, which creates more sink to the baseball.
Brad Hopp a single up the middle his last time. It's time to go outside the box with Jack in the box. Career versus Derek Lowe. Good average for Hopp. For Helton, Chris Iannetta not nearly the number of at-bats. This ball is ripped to left. Anderson in the corner makes the catch. Well, you know what? You got to give the Braves defensively a lot of credit. Garrett Anderson does not have a lot of range, but he's been positioned perfectly in this ball game on 3 occasions.
Well, he's got some soft fly balls over there, and it's kind of like McLeod. You've got from the gap to gap, and then I'll just worry about the line, and that's kind of what he's done. I mean, he is not deep at all, and he's not over into the gap at all. I mean, he's actually kind of shading everything to the line. He didn't have to run very far to catch that at all.
Would you agree that since the spray chart has changed on Brad Hopp this year, he's playing a spot that most left fielders in years past would not be, but Brad is going there consistently?
I would agree with you for one except for one reason. McLeod's playing in right center. I don't understand. You know, with the spray chart the way it is, the way it's set up, and then I look at McLeod, and he's playing 20 yards or 20 feet right of second base, and he's playing straight away in left field with Hopp at the plate. And I was like, what are you doing? Have you not seen what Drew and I are getting to see up here? Seeing an awful lot of the deal. And again, it comes back to which way is Derek Lowe going to pitch it, too. Because anytime you get a veteran guy on the mound, a lot of times, they're going to be able to pitch to the defense, where a lot of the younger kids can't pitch to the defense.
Two and two on Tulowitzki. Troy laid down a beautiful bunt up the third base line in the second. The Rockies had runners at first and second, nobody out. Stewart hit into a force play, first and third, 1 out. But then Iannetta struck out on a slider, and Carlos Gonzalez hit a bouncer to second. And that was the end of that opportunity. Here's the 2-2. And Tulowitzki, foul tip held by McCann. They're going to have to slow Lowe down. We've seen this before. When he gets on a roll, he's right back on the rubber, and it goes quickly to the 5th. Question. Todd Helton made his debut in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania in 1997, August. Two left-handed hitters since then have more hits than Helton. Johnny Damon, Garrett Anderson. Not many more, but a few. One 1-0 on Derek Lowe. 7 in a row set down by Ubaldo Jimenez. And the ball has not left the infield. 4 ground balls and 3 strikeouts. .57 pitches in for Jimenez. He works here in the 5th. Slider, and that one just missed. That was one that Derek's supposed to swing at and then go back and rest.
Didn't do it, did he?
He didn't get the message.
He might get it again right here.
Well, he got himself a base hit.
Wow.
On a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. Boy, you hate that. You got a pitcher leading off.
Well, Derek Lowe's a pretty good athlete. I always like to come early to the ballpark, and I like to watch early BP and all those things. And I watch Derek Lowe, and what he does and how he runs and works at his craft. It's no wonder why he's lasted as long as he has.
McLouth up there takes ball 1. I remember early in the ball game we were charting the fastball of Ubaldo Jimenez. We charted the first 11 fastballs he threw. There's a strike, 1-1. They averaged 96 miles an hour.
Well, the velocity Drew's talking about is wonderful. It really is. But if it's up into the zone, I mean, Ubaldo's given up 5 hits and 2 runs in this game on balls up. And guys will tell you, great hitters. You know, if you talk to Todd Helton, Brad Hopp, they would rather face a guy throwing 95 to 97 than they would a guy like a Derek Lowe that's sinking it, cutting it, sliding it, slow curveballs, all of the different mix to the hitters.
And Chipper Jones said that to me before the ball game. He said, you know, this guy's tough. He said part of it is, yeah, he throws hard. I don't mind that. He said, but I don't know if he always knows exactly where it's going.
That's the scary part.
You know, McLouth is a strikeout victim. That's 6 punch outs tonight for Jimenez. 1 out with Derek Lowe at first base. Let's take a look at the Firestone League leaders. Team batting average, the Marlins swinging the bats well and coming on in the NL East, winners of 7 of 10. And then the Rockies, and that's over the last 20 days, 30 days, I should say. That's a strike. On more team product. Last night, George, Esmil Rogers, well thought of pitching prospect for the Rockies, made his AAA debut, and it was a good one.
It was 6 innings, 9 hits, 3 runs, no walks. He threw 80 pitches, 58 of those for strikes, and really dominated with his fastball, which averaged 94 out of the windup, 92 out of the stretch. A lot of first pitch strikes, 19 to 27. It's a very good number with that also.
And Prado is gone. 2 outs. Strikeout number 7. And the other thing, George, that at any level, especially in professional baseball, they look at, and I know this was an important pitch for you, the swing count, the 1-1 pitch. Does it go 1-2 in your favor, or does it go 2-1 now favoring the hitter?
I mean, and you need to be about 70% or above if you're going to have success in a game of baseball.
And last night, he was very good.
Outstanding last night. I think that was the big key. 6 of 7 last night for Esmil Rogers.
Here's Chipper. He's hit the ball hard twice. A single and a sharp ground ball at Clint Barnes. And Chipper fouls it off. In batting practice today, and you made mentioned last night and also today, George, of what you heard Chipper say when he came in the dugout last night after batting practice. He said, you know what, Skip, if you want a singles hitter, I'm your guy. I said, but I'm having trouble with the groin injury turning on it. When he took BP today, he basically slapped the ball around the ballpark.
Well, he did. I mean, that just tells you what a great hitter that he is.
He wasn't trying to hit it in the seats.
294 right now. Well, he's the type of hitter that he could have a half swing and allow the power of Jimenez's fastball allowed to drive into a gap and possibly into a seat. The crowd is not oohing for a 3-1 count. It's oohing for the lightning bolt in left field.
There's some clouds around the ballpark. 3-1 on Jones. And 3-2.
Here's what it looked like to the crowd. That'll get your attention.
Derek Lowe will be moving on the pitch. Helton's playing behind him. And it's inside. So Jones to first, Derek Lowe to second. That'll bring up Ryan McCann.
Don't forget about coming out to the ballpark. And if you don't want to sit in a regular seat, they got a neat place. Get one of the suites. It's a great atmosphere designed to fit any event at any budget. And once you get that first one, be sure you ask about the buy one, get one free offer. 303-312-2444 to reserve your game today.
McCann swings and misses. Bryant tonight is 0 for 2. A fly ball to left field, and he was caught looking. I would think, George, if you were to track catchers who play on a regular basis, swung on and missed, the good ones, a high percentage of them hit lower in the second half than they do in the first half.
Yeah, that would be common. I think it's probably more on teams that are playing out of domes in Texas, very hot areas. Because of that, I think in Denver, I don't know if that would always hold true because of the great weather you have here.
That's a fair ball. Helton got near the line. He'll beat McCann to the bag, and Jimenez leads 2 on. Middle of 5, the Braves leading 2-0. Ian Stewart will lead it off against Derek Lowe. The Rockies have only 2 hits. They came back-to-back in the second inning. Lowe's not been good of late, George, but tonight a different story.
A total different story. You see those numbers the last 5 starts. This guy has gotten beat up. 0-4, 861 earned run average. The opposition hit near 400, and they hit it out of the ballpark. on Mr. Lowe. He is 7-7 on the season, but he looks like Cy Young with a 2-hit shutout going here at Coors Field, leading in this ball game 2-0. He's given up 2 hits. Derek Lowe at Coors Field, a high earned run average. See that, 623, 2-4 record in 8 starts.
See if Stewart can get it going against Lowe. Native of Dearborn, Michigan. And the sinker is below the knees. He said the sinker baller, make sure he gets it up. You see it coming knee high or a little bit above, stay off it, because you're just going to pound it in the ground.
Well, one thing fans don't have to worry about here, there is lightning rods on all the light towers around. That's going to take the shot if the lightning hits. It's kind of the weather deals coming in. And I have seen this at ballparks at the collegiate level where it will strike the light towers, obviously nearest metal to the lightning. But it is loud when it happens. Duck for cover, partner. You're not going to know when it's coming.
Keep me posted. Here's the 2-1. And this ball is fouled off down the left field line. Anderson watches it go into the crowd.
See, I never worry about the rain getting you until I see Raz jump out. Mark Razum jump out with his crew and take off running. Did you see him earlier, Doug? See, you hadn't seen him. It's a good sign. There he is.
He doesn't look overly concerned yet.
Folks, I want to tell you something. And again, there's nobody on base. 2-2 count right now. That man and his crew. And once again, you know, today I was here about 1:30 because I thought the game was at 6. Got here a little early. But he is out here. They are out here working their tails off. I mean, he turned this field 3 times today, dragged it. He was out with the big, heavy tractors rolling the base paths out. There's 5 guys working on the mound. There's 4 guys mowing. And it's just incredible the time that's put in for this team or these teams to play on one of the best fields in all of baseball.
No question, they do a marvelous job night in and night out. They have to deal with varying weather conditions, weather that changes very quickly. So leadoff walk to Stewart. Chris Iannetta is 0 for 1, a punch out. That ended a run of 8 in a row set down by Lowe.
You know, a lot of times the effects of this lightning show and these storms, a lot of times pitchers want to grab and go. Veteran guys like Lowe sometimes go, you know what, if it rains, it rains. And they'll go ahead and stay with their plan of pitching versus trying to rush through some things. Younger kids, it affects a little bit more than it does a veteran guy. He's going to continue to try to make his pitches.
Chris Iannetta, a very patient hitter, a very disciplined hitter, with a 2-0 count. Chris hasn't caught fire yet. He had a good ball game last night, but he hasn't put that stretch together, George, where he's hit, 380 over 10 days.
He hasn't done that offensively, but defensively behind the plate, calling the game where he's carried these starters through this. And it's interesting because Chris Warren does the advance here for the Rockies. It sets everything up for them and how to pitch to hitters, managers' tendencies, pitchers' tendencies, what guys do in certain counts. And it's become like it is Jim Tracy's work study in that thing. Every afternoon he sits down with that and he studies over that book. He meets with Iannetta on maybe the approach to take on certain hitters that have hurt them in the first couple of games of a series. Something we used to use an awful lot, the inside edge. That all major league teams use, or a lot of them do. It's a costly service to have.
This ball ripped to center field by Iannetta. Stewart will stop at second. And for the second time in the ball game, the Rockies have 2 on and nobody out. Carlos Gonzalez will be the hitter. Quickly, we check in with Alana Rizzo.
Thanks again, Drew. Earlier, you guys were talking about Derek Lowe's number. He admittedly said that they have been awful at Coors Field. He said the breaking balls don't drop as much as they do usually. He said they don't move as much here. He said the outfield is so big, doubles tend to turn into triples very easily. He said more than anything, it's the psychological factor of pitching here. You guys mentioned his last 5 starts. Well, in his last 3 starts, he's 0-3, a 10.66 ERA. So the memories that he's had here recently, not good ones. Doing pretty well here tonight. And I have to say that I know you guys said there are lightning rods on this stadium, but I feel like the biggest lightning rod out here with the microphone.
Take the earrings off, put the microphone down. Yeah. And do not wear a ball cap. Okay. I'm going to help you out, Alana.
Thank you.
1 strike count on Carlos Gonzalez. This is a big at bat for Gonzalez, George, because you have the pitcher up next, and it's the middle portion of a game. The Rockies aren't going to pinch hit for Jimenez in the 5th inning.
Well, not with the way he's handled the Braves for the last 3 innings.
This ball right to short. There's 1.
Well, they've had trouble.
There's 2. They had trouble, and they still got the double play turn.
Just can't get it. It's like they got pine tar in their gloves. The ball won't pop out for either side. There's been opportunities for a lot of double plays to be turned by both clubs tonight, and this one's successful. And this is a 2-hopper. Right there, had trouble getting it out of the glove, and Conrad able to snap throw it on down to first base for the out.
Well, the story of this game right now, when the Rockies have had opportunities, Derek Lowe has made a big pitch. He got a double play ground ball just there, and he really should have had a double play on Stewart earlier.
Well, 2 of the opportunities that really presented themselves back in the 2nd innings with runners 1st and 3rd. Iannetta struck out Gonzalez with a ground ball. The next opportunity presented itself with the runners on 1st and 2nd. The point I'm getting to, it's worked out for Lowe that when they have had opportunities, it's been the bottom of the lineup, not up in your RBI typical situation. So maybe that's helped him a little bit to get out of these.
The 1 and 2 on Jimenez. 2 outs. Ian Stewart at 3rd base. Still 2-0 Atlanta. The 2 runs scored in the 1st inning on a double by Garrett Anderson. Tonight's high-speed pitch is brought to you by Quest High-Speed Internet.
Top of the Rockies order so far, 0 for 6.
Well, another opportunity that goes awry for the Rockies. 2-0 Braves. Sixth inning. Let's take a look at our Excel Energy fun fact. Wednesday, Kosuke Fukudome hit a home run off Kenshin Kawakami. It was the 6th time in big league history that a Japanese-born hitter hit a home run off a Japanese-born pitcher. All have occurred since 2004. It's also a good idea to run your dishwasher when it's full. This maximizes energy use Learn more energy tips at responsiblebynature.com. Garrett Anderson at the plate. A 2-run double with 2 outs in the first inning. And he takes that pitch out of the zone as well. It's 2-0. Anderson with the RBIs broke a 3-way tie with Roger Connor, who's a Hall of Famer, and Ruben Sierra. It's in the air to left field. It's going to die in front of Gonzalez. He's now 86th on the all-time Ribby list with 1,324. You have 1,324 RBIs. You don't even lead your own club, though. That distinction held by Chipper Jones, who has 1,414 RBIs. So Anderson is on, and Matt Diaz to the plate. Diaz 0 for 2. Pitch count at 81 for Jimenez. He's still got an overpowering fastball. He's, George, of late been averaging more than 110 pitches an out.
Yeah, I mean, he's fine pitch count wise. It's just a matter of getting through this inning as he works down through the bottom half of the order. Their order, doing all the damage, has been right in the middle. I mean, 2, 3, 4 has done the damage for them with the RBIs, the base hits. So he's handled the bottom half. There's some punch outs to go with it.
He has a very fine 3.86 ERA. But he's learning that when you pitch out of the 2-hole and you're matching up with the Derek Lowe's of the world, your margin for error is very slim.
Very slim.
Typically, your club's not going to get you 8-9 runs.
Well,
and you're going to be in a lot of 2-1, 3-2, 4-3 kind of ball games.
And the people always say, well, you're pitching against the other lineup, not the pitcher, and that's correct. But you're also pitching against one of the better guys. So that's what makes it even that much harder. High heat. See you later.
Man, he's got the fastball working tonight. He's got 8 punch outs.
11 for a career high. Let's see what happens with this heater here. See, I had to ask for it, but I like the positioning. It's right even with the lead elbow of a hitter. Anytime you get a little bit higher than that, they're going to lay off of it.
Who hits that pitch at 97, 98 miles an hour?
Well, nobody, and that's why a lot of them don't swing at it, but a lot of them do because they think they can hit it.
Brooks Conrad pops it up. Tulowitzki territory. The wind's starting to swirl a little bit.
You're going to have to deal with that now because of the storm that's in the downtown area. It's starting to make the flag circle a little bit, swirl up.
Windshield chipped or cracked? Please don't wait. Call Colorado's #1 team, Elite Safelite Auto Glass, 303-287-5000, online at safelite.com. Another lightning strike in the neighborhood. Diori Hernandez is 0 for 2.
And this has nothing to do with this. Well, it does kind of have something to do with ballgame. The faster they can get this tarp on, the better, because you don't lose the field. But here's the hard part about putting it on in this kind of weather: all the wind. The wind starts coming on. It starts lifting the tarp off of the ground.
Remember in 2007 when the tarp went flying and guys were being pulled around? That was a scary, scary night. 2-0. On Diori Hernandez. I think Joe West is looking up there saying if he can get this next out, he'll go check with Mark Razzum, and if it's going to storm, maybe we'll get everybody off the field.
Well, he checked with Raz right in between, but that lightning hadn't slowed it. That's right up behind the ballpark. Joe West getting a good view of that.
2-1 on Hernandez, and it's on the ground to third. Easy play for Stewart. He'll go the short way to Barnes. Middle of 6, 2-0 Atlanta. Jimenez has settled in nicely.
playing.
AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. That was funny. Does it sound just like your holy cow would have played?
No, not
the
quite.
Scooters.
Not quite.
Remember Scooter used to...
Yes, I listened to Scooter.
Holy
Phil
cow.
Rizzuto, an awful lot there with the Yankees.
Here's Dexter Fowler, lays a bunt down.
He and Frank Messer.
Frank Messer, the late Frank Messer.
The great thing about
Phil Rizzuto.
Scooter, folks, and for you, and you may not care, but I'm going to tell you anyway.
That's it.
Well, did you go by
I
the
care.
Italian shop the other day and get that pizza? Oh, home run. Yankees winning 1-0. Did you get the pepperoni? And I'm just like, Scooter, there's a game going on. Come on.
1-1. But yesterday, Dexter Fowler stole his 18th base. We told all of you that it is a new Rockies rookie record. Used to share the record for a couple of days with Quentin McCracken. That's low. If you're thinking, well, what is the all-time big league record for stolen bases by a rookie? He's got a long, long way to go. Vince Coleman in '85 swiped 110. This is in the air to center field.
Watch this. Just watch the ball move around him. It looked like a Tim Wakefield knuckleball when it got to the upper deck.
And McLeod makes the catch. That was up there so long. Dexter was past second base by the time it was caught. And not been many hits for the Rockies. Hop a single, Tulowitzki a bunt single, Chris Iannetta a single, 1 walk. Ian Stewart, 4 base runners for the Rockies. That's it. Barmas 2 ground balls to short. Pitch count excellent for Lowe. 75 pitches as he works here in the 6th. Well, for the Atlanta Braves, they haven't seen the postseason since 2005. And ended their run of 14 straight division titles. They've been under 500 2 of the last 3 years. Last year, they were 72 and 90, which was their worst season since 1990 when they went 65 and 97. Of course, the next year they won 94 games in the National League West. Remember, the Braves were sitting in Atlanta, Georgia, but playing in the West for all those years. Here's the 1-2. And this ball is hit a long way, but it's going to turn foul.
It'll take a poke to knock it through this wind. It is really coming in. Well, there's Mark Grasam. He's up on the steps. All of his guys have moved over to the third base dugout area. They're all huddled up, waiting to make the move.
Ground ball to the shortstop. And Hernandez throws to first. That's 3 times tonight. Barmas has hit the ball to Hernandez. 2 outs. That'll bring up Helton, who's 0 for 2. The Braves in 07 went 84 and 78. They finished 3rd in the East, 5 games behind the Phils and Mets. Through all those division titles, the only time they won a World Series was in '95, and of course that was the year in the first round they defeated the Colorado Rockies 3-1. And Bobby Cox is on record as saying that Rockies team scared the dickens out of them because of the offense they presented.
Big bats. Lots of it.
Two 2-0 on top.
Now, this is the 2 batters that really concern Lowe, because obviously if Helton gets on base or hits the long ball, and then you've got Hop right behind him. We showed you the numbers earlier.
Todd hits it high in the air, deep right center field. And did he get it? Yeah. Home run number 10 for Helton. His 2nd career bomb against Derek Lowe, and it's a 2-1 ball game.
Now, those were the 2 guys concerning Lowe in this lineup, or Helton and Hop. But Helton got him first. The 4th hit of the ball game gets out into the Rockies bullpen and into this wind. And there is a lot of wind at Coors Field right now. When Helton hit it, he wasn't sure himself. He knew he got it. On a typical night, it might have even gotten up into the seats. But on this night, with the storm and the rain, wasn't sure.
George, excellent point. I don't think that's a helping wind. I think he hit that through the wind. Here's Brad Hopp.
Let's look on the Hyundai cam at Todd Helton. Watch his eyes, folks. That's what I love to watch, his eyes and the connection to the baseball, to the bat, the follow through. See, when he looked out at it, I really thought he was thinking,
And another strike. So it's 0-2 on Hopp.
Backdoor sliders, both pitches.
That home run for Todd Helton, his 320th. Todd now is good friend Vinny Castilla for 98th on the all-time list. Vinny in uniform every day at home for the Rockies. Foul tip. Of course, Vinny, a former Atlanta Brave, that's the team he came up with. He had a nice moment yesterday with Bobby Cox, gave him a big bear hug. Jeff Francis. Jeff progressing nicely after shoulder surgery. Tossing the baseball. Outside, 1-2.
Yeah, this is what Lowe will try to do. He's going to try to go away and try to minimize what Hopp can do with the damage, obviously with the long ball. We just saw it happen with Todd Helton. So what he's trying to do now is make sure he keeps everything. You see, that's a backdoor type situation he went to. Hard sinker away at 89. I mean, he's just trying to do everything in his power to stay out of it. Doug the weatherman. That is one big cloud right over left field out there.
2-1 ball game. 1-2 on Brad Hopp. And he got him with a slider. So Derek Lowe strikes out Hopp. 6 innings complete. 2-1 Atlanta. They weren't going to put the tarp on the field. They're putting the tarp on the field. Top of the 7th, the Braves leading 2-1. Braves got 2 runs in the first. Derek Lowe finally gave up a run last half inning when Todd Helton reached the bullpen against him. Jimenez has given up 2 runs in the first. He's been outstanding. But we'll have to push the pause button. We'll see how that affects 2 pitchers who've been out there for a while. Generally speaking, any sort of delay when you reach the 7th inning, the starters are done. Hopefully it will not be a protracted delay, but we are now officially in a rain delay mode with Atlanta leading 2-1. Derek Lowe has thrown 88 pitches. Ubaldo Jimenez 90. We're going to take you to Rockies All Access. Stay with us. We'll be back to give you updates periodically. affected by, George, light rain and more the fact that there were a lot of there was plenty of lightning and thunder.
Well, there was
in
a lot
the area.
there was a lot of storms right around. I mean, it's the fear factor, and Raz doesn't cover this thing. Mark Razum, the wonderful groundskeeper here, is not going to cover it unless the National Weather Service calls and says you better cover. Because trust me, those guys do not want to get that tarp out unless they have to.
Well, let's get you caught up. It's been a pitcher's duel between Ubaldo Jimenez and Derek Lowe. In the first inning, the Braves, with 2 out and 2 on, got Garrett Anderson to the plate, and he hit one close to 400 feet for a 2-run double. That's the entirety of the offense for Atlanta, and here's the entire offense for the Rockies. It happened last half inning before the tarp went on the field. A home run for Todd Helton, his 10th of the year, 320th of his career. Well, it's going to be on the bullpens now. Alan Embry takes over in the top of the 7th inning for Ubaldo Jimenez, who went 6 innings, gave up 2 runs on 6 hits. He struck out 8 and walked 1. This call to the pen is brought to you by Comcast. Warm up to unlimited local and long distance. Call 1-800-COMCAST. And the 9-hole, Derek Lowe, scheduled to hit. He obviously will not after the lengthy delay. And it is Gregor Blanco hitting.
Embry has done such a nice job for the Rockies with just one minor little adjustment. Started to close the front side with that front lead leg to allow him to stay back a little bit longer, and everything's gotten better since then.
Looped to Gonzalez and left, 1 out. So Blanco is retired, pinch hitting for Lowe in the 7th inning. That'll bring up Nate McLeod. Well, after a tough start for Ubaldo Jimenez, George, he really pitched very well.
Pitched very well. 6 hits, 2 runs in the ball game for Ubaldo, and hopefully the Rockies put a couple of tallies on the board and they spit that hook out.
He's pitched 3 straight ball games, George, where he's pitched very well, yet is in line either for a loss or a no decision. McLeod pulls it toward Helton. Nice pickup by Todd. And Embry gets over to the bag in front of Nate McLeod. Good play. It's a tough play for Todd, George, having to bend down after, he's staying loose, obviously, inside the clubhouse, but he's been idle for about an hour.
Well, that's the big thing they do. They do get up and obviously heat packs in a lot of ways to keep your back warm during that time frame. Guys just don't go in there and sit. A lot of guys go into cages and hit.
Let's take a look at our Geico quote of the day. Ralph Houck, the former Yankee manager, the mental approach to pinch hitting is so different from playing regularly that it takes special talent. Some of the game's greatest haven't been able to handle it. It's one of the toughest pressure jobs in baseball because most of the time it means the ball game. Last night, Garrett Atkins handled it. And it's interesting that our Geico quote of the day from Ralph Houck, who had a great deal of influence, positive influence on Bobby Cox. Here's Martin Prado with 2 outs, fastball away. The rain delay officially 52 minutes. 3rd rain delay the Rockies have weathered, if you will, on this homestand.
Embry at 92 miles an hour and really utilizing the downward plane. Look at Alan Embry on the mound right now. What I mean by that, he's working in this angle to the plate.
The numbers on Derek Lowe: 6 innings, he allowed a run, the home run to help, 4 hits, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. He pitched very well. Manny Acosta is going to be the first out of the bullpen tonight for the Atlanta Braves. Here's the 2-1. That's fouled off. Good zip on that fastball at 92 from Embry. Allen last night made his 881st career appearance. Tonight is 882. He's 28th on the all-time appearance list. Just missed down low.
Well, the next that he will tie at 883, Mike Myers, Denver resident, now working for the Players Association.
That got Embry, and he is down. He's going to be hobbling around. That got him flush on the lower leg.
Boy, it sure did.
That got him flush.
Yeah, tried to get up. I mean, that's just a tough veteran guy. Just took a shot and then went right back down to the ground. Trying to straighten that thing out right now. Keith Duggar trying to get him to relax the muscle. I think they'll probably bring the cart for this one. It's parked right out in the left field corner behind the gates by Mark Rasm's office. Daly has been warming up down in the bullpen, and he'll probably be the guy in. See if he will be. Yeah, folks, this is what it's all about when you're 55 feet from home plate. And the reaction just not there. Ooh, right on the shin.
There's just no way to defend that.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, there's nothing you can do. You know, sometimes you have the ability and the reaction of just maybe jumping, and it looked like Embry tried to do that. There was just no way to do it.
You know, naturally you hope for a bruise, but we've seen a lot worse when a baseball traveling at more than 100 miles an hour hits a ball. And the one that you remember, George, is Jason Hirsch from a couple years ago, and honestly he has never returned to form since that time. Broke his leg.
Yeah, I mean, you think back to spider fractures. Hollingsworth, as a pinch hitter, took one, and on the leg had that spider fracture. It took a long, long time for that to heal. Yeah, that Braves dugout looking on. Pretty good shot taken by Alan Embry. They're going to try to load him up onto this cart the best they can.
There's not a pitcher who toes the rubber, George, who doesn't think about that on occasion, I would think.
Well, yeah, you know, there's guys in the league that you know about that think about driving the ball right back up the middle. Ooh, boy, you can just see the pain. My goodness. It's tough, too. I know that Alan's children, Ace, is here in the stands watching the ball game. They come every single night to the ballpark with him.
Back there is an ambulance always situated, and they will take him on, I'm sure, to the hospital to check for x-rays, check for potential fractures. So Daly comes on, and naturally he'll have as many pitches as is necessary to get loose. 2 outs. Prado at first base. Chipper Jones coming up. We'll step aside. It's 2-1 Atlanta. So with 2 outs, Matt Daly will face Chipper Jones. Martin Prado at first base. Jones against Jimenez was 1 for 2 and a walk. Scored a run in that first inning. And the fastball is outside, ball 1. So Alan Embry hit on the lower leg. He's being taken to the hospital by ambulance. And that pitch on the outside corner took something off, a changeup.
Well, the one thing Daly has tried to do, as you look at the numbers over the course of the season, is trying to work the backdoor slider to left-handers. About 80 to 82 miles an hour, as he did with that slider at 80. A little bit off of the plate. Of course, you got a left-handed hitting catcher in McCann right behind Chipper Jones.
Here's the 2-1 on Chipper, and it's a foul tip at the plate. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I don't think you realize either how big Chipper Jones really is till you get around him at the hitting cages, the dugouts. Talking about his forearms, the upper body, his height.
Yeah, he's been around so long. He played well against the Rockies in the '95 playoffs. And a bouncer to short. Good job by Daly to get Jones. We'll go to the bottom of the 7th. The Rockies trail by just a run. Tulowitzki to lead it off. Stretch time at Coors Field. Coors Light Freeze Cam. That was a lightning show over Coors Field a short while ago. A rain delay and lightning delay of 52 minutes. Our Coors Light Freeze Cam. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Drew Goodman, George Frazier, Alana Rizzo at the ballpark. Troy Tulowitzki to face Manny Acosta, who began the year in AAA at Gwinnett County. He was up with the club last year, and since being called back to the big leagues, George, he's been outstanding. He's retired 13 of 14 leadoff hitters.
98-mile-an-hour heater. I mean, he can flat air it out a little bit. That first offering at 95 to Tulowitzki. He's got a curveball to go with it, and he backs it up with a changeup. Very rarely will he use the changeup. He mostly relies on his fastball curveball mix while in a ball game.
Too many guys, Frazier, come out of the bullpen and throw more than 2 pitches.
No, well, you're right. I mean, maybe the 3rd pitch is a split finger. It's not like a true change. It's a trick pitch to go along with it. But most guys that throw those type of pitches are 88, 91 guys. They got to have that third pitch to try to get out of situations.
Ian Stewart last night 1 for 1 and 3 walks. Tonight he's 0 for 1 in a walk. So he keeps getting on base, and that fastball at 94 misses. Fans, a reminder, feed your Rockies fever at Taco Bell. When the Rockies score 7 or more runs during any ball game, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6. Get 4 tacos for $1 with the purchase of a drink. And that misses 2-0.
Acosta originally signed with the Yankees, spent 3 years in the Dominican Summer Leagues, then went to Tampa, Greensboro, Myrtle Beach when he got traded over to the Atlanta Braves. He's been down in the minor leagues trying to work his way to the big leagues. 29 years old in May.
Well, when you see an arm like this and you see the length of time down under, it all has to do with harnessing the fastball.
Well, and again, minor league totals, 432 strikeouts in 492 innings. Tried as a starter early in his career, converted 2004 to the bullpen.
3 balls and a strike. Stewart hitting in front of Iannetta. Boone Logan was in the ball game yesterday. One of 3 lefties the Braves have down in the bullpen getting loose. Juan Rincon for the Rockies. That's a strike. Stewart did a 2-run home run early in yesterday's ball game to get the Rockies even at 2 apiece. Home run here would look nice. Rockies trailing 2-1. Swinging bunt. Acosta has it, and he tosses it to first. Time for our decks. This date in history. July 10th, 1984. The National League beats the junior circuit at Candlestick. 3-1 home runs by the Expos, Gary Carter, the game's MVP. And also Dale Murphy of the Braves proved to be the difference in the 55th Midsummer Classic. And of course, next Tuesday in St. Louis, Mo. Another edition of the Midsummer Classic. Rockies will be represented by Brad Hoffman, Jason Marquis. With this Braves team, you're going to see a lot of close games. They throw out some very good arms to begin with. The Rockies see a great arm tomorrow in Jair Jurgens.
A very good young arm.
And they have a solid bullpen. This ball pulled in the hole. Chris Iannetta with another 2-hit night. 96-mile-an-hour fastball. He got the bat head out there.
Got it out in a hurry, and that's the thing that they've worked on, is trying to throw the bat at the baseball versus dragging through the bat through the zone. You're going to see this coming right at you. I mean, this thing, he just threw the head of the bat right at it on a Hyundai cam. You're going to see this pitch as it starts to bore its way in. Iannetta just opens that front side up, pulls the hands in, gets the head out, drives it past Chipper Jones.
Carlos Gonzalez 0 for 2, ground ball to second, and he grounded into a 6-4-3 double play. And he takes ball 1. Seth Smith, not surprisingly, has come out on deck. If Gonzalez can keep the inning going.
Now, once Smith's announced, if Gonzalez gets on base, I would look for them to bring Boone Logan into the ballgame. Warming up down in the bullpen, the left-hander. More than anything, Bobby's looked at the matchups of what he has to deal with, and with Smith's success as a pinch hitter, I think Jim Tracy may go ahead, or probably would let him go ahead and hit against the left-hander. Rincon, the right-hander, throwing for the Rockies in the bullpen.
I don't think there's any question. He's hit lefties. That's his. Look at it. That is his pinch hitter extraordinaire, and he's not going to burn him and then put up a righty if they bring in Logan. And you got to figure they're going to bring in Logan if it gets to Smith.
Well, had his trouble the other night, except the bat ended up into the seats on the Hyundai cam. As this bat comes through, he's going to lose that bottom hand, try to hang on to it with the top. It's force. Difficult to do it. Seth Smith has hit left-handers, folks. Only 11 at bats, but 364 average with a home run.
3-1. That's a strike, 3-2. Carlos Gonzalez out of Venezuela. His confidence has grown over the last few days. Jim Tracy telling him on a couple of occasions recently, hey, you don't have to carry this team. You just got to be another guy. There are a lot of guys in this lineup that are going to hit. And swung on and missed. He got a changeup. So Gonzalez is gone. Chris Ina left the board. 2-1 as we go to the 8th. Colorado Rockies baseball on FSN is brought to you by your Colorado Hyundai dealers. Finance or lease any new Hyundai, and if in the next year you lose your income, we'll make your payments for 3 months. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. By Dex, take the sport out of finding local information with Dex, in print and online at dexknows.com. And by Birch Chevrolet, where the 09 Chevy Silverado Crew Cab 4x4 is less than $26,000. The ugly weather is cleared out. Top of the 8th inning, the Atlanta Braves clinging to a 2-1 lead. Juan Rincon will take over. This call to the bullpen is brought to you by Comcast Digital Home Phone Service. Warm up to unlimited local and long distance. Call 1-800-COMCAST. Brian McCann, cleanup hitter. Slider, strike 1. McCann, nothing for 3 tonight. And now he's got something, 1 for 4, and this ball is going to run all the way to the wall. McCann, who doubled yesterday, doubles here against Rincon to lead things off in the 8th inning.
Now the success rate for Rincon when he first comes into the ball game, that's where difficulty has happened for him. Now just 1 of 5 is retiring the leadoff man. This line drive off the bat, got a fastball, appeared to be out over the plate, and just drove it out into right center field. Now, Rincon, being in the American League for so long, one of the guys that has seen him is Anderson, who's at the plate now. Rincon has won this battle. Anderson 0 for 10 against him.
He had a couple of lefty hitters, George. But Rincon gets the call, not Morales.
Well, Morales went over an inning and a third yesterday. And one thing that Jim Tracy talked to me about today is the one thing we have to find out. Can he go back-to-back days? He's been a starter his whole career. And he said, but with one left-hander left, he's into the 8th inning. He's given Rincon a shot at this. to see if he can get through this inning down 1 run. There's certain guys in a bullpen you use when you're up 1, tied, and then guys when you are tied and down 1. Rincon, one of those guys getting a call right now. Morales down in the bullpen.
Oh, 2 on Garrett Anderson. In his career is 18 for 38 at Coors Field. He's trying to pull the baseball and move McCann. You saw him out in front on that ground ball he chopped foul. Anderson has swung the bat well tonight. 2 for 3, 2 RBIs way back in the first inning. That was a good pitch, just missed.
One of the hardest fastballs seen from Rincon at 94 miles an hour off of the plate, trying to get a very good hitter to chase on a ball just a little bit away. See, watch his first reaction to the ball. See his front foot start to fly back. See how he kind of bailed on the pitch a little bit. He's looking for, as Drew mentioned, looking for something inside. He could try to pull to the right side.
Big strikeout. Yep, that's his out pitch, the slider, and he gets Garrett Anderson,
who's now 0 for 11 against Rincon. And watch this slider come into the picture. He really on top and drove this baseball in a position. Everything tried to clear to the front side. Once he committed, the key to it was having him down 0-2, showing a good velocity on a fastball away, and then came back with that hard slider.
Now Matt Diaz, who's 0 for 3, a couple of punch outs. He didn't enjoy his evening facing Ubaldo Jimenez. Jimenez, the pitcher of record for the Rockies on the south side, and the pitcher of record on the plus side for Atlanta is Derek Lowe. Two and 0. Rincon started the year with the Detroit Tigers.
Only 8 ball games that he pitched in with the Tigers, didn't have much success, and then as they started to get healthy with some of the guys out of the bullpen, he was kind of the odd man out. The Rockies very quickly snatched him up, and down at Colorado Springs pitched well, got the chance, and
in a Rockies uniform, right-handed hitters are just 1 for 14 against them.
Well, the first 15,000 to the gates on Sunday, July 6th, will receive a reusable lunch cooler courtesy of King Soopers. That is on July 26th when the San Francisco Giants are in town.
I've heard of them.
Yeah, well, people are starting to hear an awful lot about their pitching staff. Man, oh man.
He loses Diaz. That'll bring up Brooks Conrad, a switch hitter, and the Giants shutting out San Diego 7-0 tonight. Jonathan Sanchez pitching for San Francisco at AT&T.
And I picked the Padres.
So did I.
Took the Dodgers, won that one. They won 12-8.
That went extra innings. See if Rincon can get a ground ball here. 1-0.
They figured that with 3 left-handers down in their bullpen, but with the Rockies in their lineup right now, they have the right-hander Moylan warming up in their bullpen. Garrett Atkins. Big base hit off of Gonzalez. Rincon, folks, is Garrett Atkins and a lot of those guys down there. You'll see him swinging the bat, putting everything on, getting ready to go. As pinch hitters, I think that's one thing Jim Tracy has done well. You know, guys have the designated roles in the bullpen. Guys on the bench have their designated roles.
Pulled foul. And you said it yesterday. Bobby Cox And he hasn't had a lot of guys. I mean, I think way back Otis Nixon years and years ago. He hasn't had a lot of big base stealers. He lets the game unfold.
He just lets guys play. I mean, and down in Atlanta, you know, it's third highest ballpark altitude-wise, so there's the balls that fly down there. So there are a lot of home run hitters.
2-2.
Certain pitches in a game you see, like that one, how did you not swing it? I mean, with the 2-strike count, he has taken. Bobby Cox, this is where he gets his joy, is running that bullpen down there at the end.
Got to make a pitch here on Conrad, and he does. Second out of the inning, second strikeout of the inning for Rincon as he gets Brooks Conrad.
Well, after the leadoff double, fans at home probably thinking, uh-oh, this doesn't look very good with a run, and its inning's not over by any chance. But with Rincon's slider, hard slider, very similar to the one that he got Garrett Anderson with, he's able to strike him out, a walk to Diaz, and now Conrad with the punch out. This guy at the plate right now, hitting 121. Don't relax. Make your pitches. Finish off the inning.
Slider missed. You know, not a bad hitter, George, in the minor leagues. He had 307 2 years ago in Double-A ball. He had 288 last year in Triple-A Richmond. Richmond no longer the Braves AAA club, now Gwinnett County, just north of Atlanta. Here's the 1-0. And this ball lined to right center field, and he comes through. One run is scored. The trail runner is Diaz. He gets a green light, and he's going to score. A 2-run double by Diori Hernandez, and now it's 4-1 Atlanta. And he doubles his RBI total, his career RBI total with that double. He had 2 coming in. He's got 4.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, you know, you felt like you had yourself in a pretty good position right on right. You just mentioned, but he gets a fastball up. You just mentioned what right-handers have done against Rincon, but look where the pitch was. Fastball up, about belt high in the strike zone, not down where he wanted it and away where Inetta wanted it. Drove it between Hop and Fowler, and was off to the races after that.
And with the 2-run lead, Manny Acosta, with a short bench for Atlanta, is going to swing the bat here. Like Manny Corpus, a native of Panama. Most famous Panamanian player right now. And left fielder for the Houston Astros, El Caballo.
Had Roberto Duran as a guest yesterday at the ballpark in Houston throughout the first pitch. There's nobody
on Acosta,
and nobody up in the Rockies bullpen. I mean, it's his inning to finish this thing up and get out of it. McLeod, the left-handed hitter, sitting in the on-deck circle.
By the way, El Caballo, of course, Carlos Lee.
Well, I knew who you were talking about.
I knew you did.
It looked, if I can read lips, it looked like Josh Fogg.
So Rincon, perhaps rattled by the double by Hernandez, walks Acosta. Now you have Nate McLeod. He pitched well, George, to get to Hernandez. Leadoff double by McCann. Pitched carefully with Diaz after striking out Anderson. He gets Conrad. But guys are in the big leagues for a reason.
He just got to stop it, though. That's the one reason I think Josh Fogg's gotten up down in the bullpen, that hard sinker. Can he get ready? Obviously not for McLeod. He's not going to be ready for Prado, but then you have Chipper Jones, the switch hitter, and their RBI guy to hit third. Try to get through this inning. Try to get this last out.
on McLeod, who's 0 for 4. He thought he had himself a hit earlier in the ball game on a little squibber up the first base line, but they gave an error to Ubaldo Jimenez on the play. McLeod, the 10-game hitting streak coming in. 4-1 Atlanta. One and two. On the ground toward the hole, Helton with his momentum going towards second. Fires a strike to Troy Tulowitzki. In the inning, 2 runs, a 2-run double by Hernandez, and it's 4-1 Atlanta.
How you can help keep the environment green. Don't print out your email. For more information on the 20 Games of Green, visit coloradorockies.com/green.
Manny Acosta stays in the ball game for the Atlanta Braves. Seth Smith in the 9-hole will pinch hit. Rockies trail by 3 runs. See if they have some magic with 6 outs to work with. .458 batting average in the pinch for Seth Smith. That's incredible. I'll tell you something else that's amazing. That pitch misses. Since 1974, with at least 50 at-bats as a pinch hitter, Kevin Seitzer with a .411 average. Second on the list, Seth Smith, a career .379 hitter off the bench. Mark Kotsay, who was a Brave last year at .373, former Mets backup catcher Duffy Dyer, who managed here in this town with the Zephyrs at .373, and Ken Herbeck, your old teammate, hit .364 in the pinch. I didn't think he got that many pinch hitting appearances.
Later on, what he did, you know, a lot of times they give, he had some knee problems, so a lot of times they give him days off, and he'd come in and pinch hit late in the game.
He was good at it.
Very good. You know, to see him today, doesn't look like the same guy. He's like 230 pounds. He played at 270. 6'6". Big man.
2-1 on Smith, and it's a strike. 2-2. And let's see if the Rockies can create some traffic. Get the boppers to the plate. We have not done much of anything offensively. 5 hits. The home run by Helton. And this ball's hit a ton left center field. Long run for McLeod. He's not going to get there. Unbelievable. Short hops the wall. Smith will stop at second. He is remarkable. He really is.
And a really slow curveball at 81, so you're thinking 14 to 15 miles an hour less than the fastball. But at altitude, if you hang it at all, it makes it easy for the hitter to get solid contact. And this ball hung up into the strike zone, but you've got to read that as a hitter to stay back, to put that much bat speed and force on the baseball to hit it into left center field, almost out of the ballpark.
It's hard when you're hitting 467 for your average to go up. Just did. He's at 480 now in the pinch. And a big swing from Dexter Fowler, 0-1. Rockies lead the National League in doubles with 172. They lead the National League in triples as well. 23. They're tied with Houston. That misses. And they're second in the league in home runs to Philadelphia, who, by the way, have 4 players with 20 or more home runs before the All-Star break. The second time that has ever happened.
Josh Fogg, the right-hander, that continued to warm up. They've also got Peralta. When the ball game gets tied, you'll see Peralta. If it stays where it is and the Rockies down, you'll see Josh Fogg.
Windshield damage in any way, call Colorado's #1 team, Elite Safelite Auto Glass, 303-287-5000, online at safelite.com. Fowler behind, 1-2. Barmes on deck. Smith a leadoff double to deep left center. 4-1 Atlanta. 2-2. Dexter tonight 0 for 3. Barmes is 0 for 3. Rockies had 2 good chances to score. First and second, nobody out in the second. Could not get anything done. First and second, nobody out in the fifth. And couldn't get anything done. Equipment issue. Broken glove. Brian McCann will go to the backup.
That's one thing, catchers, very important, because it is a very big, stiff glove that they break into at the start of the year, so they have that spare, and then the trainer starts to work trying to fix the one that just broke.
To the hole. What a job by Fowler. Smith will stop at third because it is a 3-run game. It's a 1-run game. You may have seen him challenge the arm of Matt Diaz. 2 on for Clint Barmes. Quickly we check in with Alana Rizzo.
All right, real quick, Drew, I want to talk about Clint Barmes. 0 for 3 tonight, but yesterday earned his 100th and 101st double. I asked him if he kept track of milestones. He said, not really, because I did it in the minor leagues and it hurt me. Now I don't do it because it puts way too much pressure on me. In fact, Todd Helton had to tell him that he achieved that milestone last night after the pitching change, after Clint got that double. Let's see what he can do here now, Drew.
All right, Barmes, who has had a penchant for the dramatic in his career, up with 2 on and nobody out. And that one, George, almost went to the backstop. Almost broke another webbing on Brian McCann also.
That's the one thing about McCann, is he has started his time in the big leagues. He was comfortable because he had guys that threw strikes. Now you get a young kid on the mound, first and third. He's all over the place a little bit. You can't get quite as comfortable behind the plate.
Barmes, a tremendous fastball hitter. Helton is on deck. Ton of room in left center field. Fowler going, and McCann is not going to throw the baseball.
It's pre-designed not to throw the baseball through, because right now they're just trying to find outs. And if you start to throw it, you send it into center field, the run scores, Dexter goes to third, possibly all the way to the plate. You just eat the baseball, because defensively, if that ball is hit, you want everybody sitting. So, I mean, this is the wise thing to do right now.
It's a big play. It takes a double play out of order.
Absolutely it is.
2-0's in there, 2-1. Fowler is 19 bad. This has got to be the last hitter for Acosta. With all the left-handers they have in the bullpen, and 2 lefties coming up for the Rockies. 2-2.
Yeah, Boone Logan was the guy down there going. Let's see if Barnes chased the ball out of the strike zone. Fastball appeared to. Some late cut and movement on that fastball. 2-2 count on Flint.
You got to make a decision in a split second, and the guy's throwing as hard as Acosta.
Left-hander O'Flaherty's up, helping on the on-deck circuit.
2-2's fouled off. He reached back for a little something extra on that. The hardest pitch he's thrown. That came in at 96. One of the lefties, O'Flaherty. O'Flaherty went 2/3 of an inning last night. This punch to center field, and getting to the baseball's McLeod, and Smith will not run. Again, it all has to do with the scoreboard. It's 4-1.
Well, scoreboard and the fact McLeod's coming as hard as he could come out of center field. He's only about 60 feet behind second base. It's going to take a very errant throw. Plus, you got your 2 top RBI guys coming up, and Helton and Hop. They're going to get the left-hander. Bobby Cox is going to the mound.
So Flaherty, who was able to retire Helton and Hop in yesterday's ball game, will be asked to do the same tonight. 4-1 Atlanta, 2 on, 1 out in the 8th. As he took Derek Lowe deep, just the 6th home run allowed by Lowe all year. First home run for Helton since June the 20th. 2-0 on Todd, Hop on deck. And that is a strike. O'Flaherty was drafted out of high school in the 6th round by the Seattle Mariners from Walla Walla High School. It's my favorite town in America, George.
Walla Walla, Washington?
Yeah, Walla Walla, Washington.
It wasn't Walla Walla, Montana?
Big home run cut.
Yeah, 92 mile an hour heater, inner half and up, right in the wheelhouse. Had a little velocity behind it, missed the location. but had a good result in the Hyundai Cam. You see Helton just under that baseball.
2-2. Todd will go into the two-strike approach. Outfield very deep. Fowler at second. Obviously, he'll score on a base hit. Good swing. Todd, boy, that was a mistake pitch, George, by O'Flaherty. Breaking pitch over the heart of the plate.
Well, and again, just the reduction in velocity at 83 miles an hour probably what threw it off enough for them to do it. I mean, that's the big thing about it. You watch this ball come across the plate, stayed right into the sweet spot where he gets some extension to take that ball into left center.
And again, O'Flaherty able to strike out Todd Helton. So now there are 2 outs, and it'll be left to Brad Hopp.
Just mentioned something to Brad Hopp walking away, too. Watch the bend on this big breaking ball. That was nasty.
You don't
pretty good velocity right behind it, too. I mean, see Helton fooled way out on his front foot by the pitch. Did not connect.
And
he must hide the ball really well. You so rarely see him miss that much on a lefty. Yeah, but, he must have hidden the ball very well from Todd Helton.
And you rarely see him that much out front, off balance. Brad hit a ground ball to second against O'Flaherty yesterday, and he gets rubbed off the plate running up.
You can look on the Hyundai Cam how quick this comes up and in, because a lot of times, and again, watch the motion of what Brad does. I mean, Brad's going to stride directly towards the pitcher, but then against the left-hander, this side's going to fall away from the plate a little bit, anticipating the hanging breaking ball and just make him pay for it. His arms are so long, his swing's long, he's able to slap the ball to the opposite field against left-handers and get some plate coverage on the outside part of the plate.
2-0 on Hopp. 4 of his 13 home runs have come against lefties. He's hit .291 left on left this year. Two and 1. Braves got O'Flaherty off waivers from Seattle.
Yeah, that goes back to scouting. Somebody in their organization saw this kid somewhere and had good reports on him. And he became available. They jumped at him. Yeah, he called that a strike. Hopp want to look back at him. Is it you calling it a strike, or is it you going to check for a strike? He called it a strike. See, watch this. He doesn't look. He just calls it a strike on his own. That was high.
That looked very high.
That's at the bottom of Brad's elbow. See, he didn't point at him. A lot of times, folks, umpires will point at you. You know, to say you went around, didn't call the strike. He called it immediately.
Depending who the hitter is, George, but typically if the catcher is receiving the ball masked high or above that, which he did in that particular case, Brian McCann, it's typically high, unless you're dealing with a Tony Clark.
I mean, look where his mask is. It's above the belt line.
Swing by Brad. That's been the story of the Rockies' night. They've had 3 good scoring opportunities now, and they haven't had that big hit. See if Brad comes through. Whoa. Tied 3-2. Tulowitzki on deck. Just wonder, George, a 24-year-old left-hander who throws in the low 90s, 90 to 93, with a decent breaking pitch. A rare commodity, and he gets let go.
Well, he gets put on waivers. Maybe other reasons out there. Roster full. Maybe they had a better pick above him. Maybe it clicked when he got to another ball club. Oh, man, he caught it. Wow. Tip.
That's a great play by Brian McCann, and that's the farthest I've ever seen a catcher go to pick up a foul tip. It hit off his glove, popped straight up in the air. Thank you, I've got it. grab your bag. It's on. By Comcast Digital Home Phone Service. Warm up to unlimited local and long distance. Call 1-800-COMCAST. By Tough Shed Storage Buildings and Garages. Call 1-800-BY-TOUGH or visit them online at toughshed.com. And by Mike Shaw Chevy Saab, Colorado's crossover and SUV headquarters for 50 years. Visit MikeShawAuto.com. Atlanta leading 4-1. The Rockies had a great chance to chip away at that lead in the bottom of the 8th. They couldn't get it done. Post-game report to follow. Tom Helmer will man the captain's chair.
That's right, just like Captain Kirk, Drew. Coming up after the ball game, of course, we'll get you into the clubhouse. We'll also talk about Lowe impact, Darrell Lowe's impact through the first 6 innings of this ball game, and also Embry options. Right now, they're saying he's got a bruise on his leg, on his ankle. We're not sure exactly what his injury is to this point, but if they do need to bring up another pitcher, we'll spitball it and talk about some of the options that the Rockies have. That's coming up on the post-game report. Drew?
All right, Tom, thanks very much. More than 35,000 in the house. Josh Fogg will throw the top of the 9th inning. Developing story right now in San Francisco. Yesterday, Tim Lincecum took a no-hitter into the 7th inning. Jonathan Sanchez is taking a no-hitter into the 9th inning against San Diego. Ahead 7-0. He's not far from perfection tonight. 10 strikeouts, no walks, no hits. The only blemish, an error on former Rocky Juan Uribe. Here's the 1-1, and it is fouled off by Prado. Sanchez entered the ball game with a 2-8 record. He has a great arm. He throws on the left side in the mid-90s. Been rumors that the Giants were shopping him for another bat.
Yeah, it was. You know, that's the one guy that Dave Righetti could not get to. And Rags has been able to do that with an awful lot of pitchers, but it's just very difficult. Has not been able to get through to it.
Ball 4. Fogg loses Prado, and that'll bring up Chipper Jones. Chipper tonight is 1 for 3 and a walk. Off of Fogg up the middle. Barmes takes it, throws to first. I think it got part of Fogg, so he'll get an assist. 1 for 3 on the turn.
Tell you what, you take it any way you can get it to get this guy out, Chipper Jones. We'll look at it one more time. I don't know if it caught a little bit of the leg or if it just caught a little bit of the mound. Didn't catch any of Fogg. A good backhand by Barmes and a snap throw to first. And remember, Jones has the groin injury, so that allowed Plant put the strong throw to Todd Helton. Well, Fox probably got the toughest job down in the Rockies bullpen. I mean, he's going to come in ball games like this, down 4-1, try to hold it, come in and maybe give you 2-3 innings if the starter blows up, and you may have a span of 2 or 3 weeks, as he dealt with, before you pitch in a ball game when the starters are having success. But I think he's the right guy for it. He's got a pretty good demeanor with it.
Soft line drive gloved by Helton. So the Rockies will have to rally in the 9th inning, trailing 4-1. They'll get Rafael Soriano. hopefully friends behind him against Rafael Soriano, George, who has taken over the closer's role here from Mike Gonzalez, and he's run with it.
Yeah, he has ran with it. 10 of 11 opportunities he has completed, 91%, 40 and 2/3 innings, a 155 earned run average. You'll find most closers just they don't get rattled. You know, guys that don't walk people. They either have overpowering pitches or they have some kind of a trick pitch to get you out with. Soriano's fastball will range up to 98. The slider, it's a 2-pitch mix. He doesn't throw it very often. He'll work the fastball nearly 80% of the time. It's just rare back. Here it is. If you can hit it, you can have it.
Hey, the league's hitting just 158 against him. So he has been outstanding. You hope for a hiccup.
Yep, Tulowitzki 0 for 3 in his career against him. It's just so free and easy. Yeah, I mean, it looked like he was trying to play catch with the first offering to Tulowitzki, and he strike one.
And another slider. Rockies again, 3 good chances to score, George, in this ball game. 3 times they had 2 runners on and nobody out, and 3 times they did not score. Their only run, a 2-out home run by Todd Helton back in the 6th inning against Derek Lowe. Lowe and Jimenez, the pitchers of record. Two outs in the 9th inning in San Francisco, by the way. And Jonathan Sanchez has a 2-2 count. He is 1 strike from a no-hitter.
Packed house, and they're on their feet.
And you can't take back an error. But if there was not an error by Uribe, he may be looking at perfection. And he just no-hit the San Diego Padres. He struck out the last hitter. So the Giants win 8-0. Jonathan Sanchez enters the record books. And of all the great arms the Giants possess, beginning with Lincecum and Kane up top, Randy Johnson, who threw a perfect game against these Braves, the no-hitter this year for the Giants goes to Jonathan Sanchez. They have Barry Zito also. I mean, how deep is that rotation?
Very deep rotation, and to think that this guy, they've been offering around to everybody, all of a sudden throws up a no-hitter.
I think the market for him went up a little bit.
Yeah, the market went away. He's staying right there probably for a while.
He remains 2-2 on Tulowitzki. And Tulowitzki is gone. Soriano with a 94-mile-an-hour heater. 1 out in the 9th.
And after a diet of sliders, it came back with some heat. Threw it up into the strike zone. Tulowitzki, tried to adjust to it fastball, but you get a little bit of movement on something at 94 plus. Not as easy to hit as you think.
The last no-hitter thrown in the big leagues last September when Carlos Zambrano tossed one. It's the first no-no of the 09 season. Jonathan Sanchez. And the Padres almost got no hit yesterday by Lincecum of the Giants.
Tough couple of days they went into that yard.
They, to be fair, George, other than Adrian Gonzalez, little Brian Giles, they don't have a ton offensively.
No, they don't. They have some guys.
Off.
Yeah, they have guys just getting ready to say Kuzminoff. They have some guys that can do some damage. And I thought when they traded away Harrison, I thought, man, what are you doing? I thought he was a very good player.
1-1 on Stewart.
Obviously, he swung bat well against the Rockies when we played him.
Scott Hairston's a good player. Hit a home run the other day for
Traded
Oakland.
to Oakland, though.
Yeah. That didn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, the only thing I think Billy Beane is going to restock his minor league system with guys like Holiday, Harrison. Right at the trading deadline, he'll start unloading and bringing guys up.
Again, this is just a scuttlebutt you hear around the cages, talking to people. George, you talk to scouts all the time. Tell you after this pitch, 2-1 on Stewart. This ball is launched to right, but it's going to turn foul. Some of the scuttlebutt is that Oakland may hang on to Matt Holliday, and at the end of the year, take the picks.
Take the one pick for him being a free agent.
It'd be a type A.
And they get the one pick up front. I think on a type A, I mean, it's a one pick deal. I may be wrong on that. I know that all the free agents that do sign away from your club, they can do that.
This ball's fouled off.
But I think if Billy Beane can restock position-wise with his minor leagues, then that's something that they can take advantage of. Somebody might want Giambi's bat down the stretch. You know, they've got some veteran guys over there. Suzuki behind the plate, although he's young, but a very good player.
Here's the 2-2 on Stewart, and Soriano strikes Stewart out. 2 gone in the 9th inning. Chris Iannetta coming up.
Well, the game really won back in the 8th inning by the Atlanta Braves, because that's where they got the base hits to score 2 and tack onto it, and then the big pitches made by O'Flaherty and by Acosta, and then now here's Soriano, 2 punch-outs to start the 9th.
Last Giant to throw a no-hitter, the Count of Montefusco back.
Oh, wow.
In the waning days of the '76 season, John Montefusco.
Yeah, late Jim Armentrout was like 8 years old.
It was almost 33 years ago. Iannetta's had a good night, couple of hits. George, I think it's more than 1 pick.
Is it? Not sure. I'll have to ask Billy Smith, Dan O'Dell. They'll know. Brian Fuentes was a Class A free agent. And he walked away from the Rockies. What did they get for that pick? 1. And they also got a pick after that for another free agent they lost.
To Iannetta inside, 3-0. Said it earlier, the NL West has 3 teams among the top 4 in the National League. And if you were to handicap those teams, you'd say the Giants have the best rotation. The Dodgers and Rockies the most potent offense in the NL West.
I think in maybe 1A, here's a drive by Iannetta. 1A may be the Dodgers with all that speed, and then all of a sudden the addition of Manny Ramirez offensively.
Well, the Rockies' 4-game winning streak is gone as the Braves prevail 4-1 tonight. The winning pitcher is Derek Lowe. He snaps a 4-game losing streak. Jimenez takes the loss. He's now 6-9, and Soriano another save. By the way, it's